Disclaimer. This video contains video footage and music from a video game I did not create. Hue is owned by Henry Hoffman, Dan DeRocha, Fiddlesticks, and Curve Digital. This video contains spoilers for Hue. Viewer discretion is advised. This video contains opinions from some guy on the internet whose opinions don't matter. I'm not trying to attack any other opinions, nor do I believe that my opinion is in any way factual or objective. If you hate opinions other than yours, please use discretion when commenting. This video is not intended for children under the age of 13, nor is my channel. The Child Online Privacy Protection Act, or COPPA, states that nobody under the age of 13 should have, among other things, a YouTube account. Also, I have a cold today, so cut me some slack. Hello boyos and girlos, and welcome to The Grind, the show where I say what I think about a game and expect you to listen for some reason. This episode we're going for a more obscure title than last time's monster hit. Today we're looking at Hue, a simple and charming puzzle platformer designed by Henry Hoffman and Dan DeRocha, developed by Fiddlesticks, and published by Curve Digital. In short, Hue follows a boy, aptly named Hugh, who goes on a quest to find his missing mother. Along the way, he uncovers increasingly scary and difficult puzzles and challenges, which he can get through with the power of the colored pieces he finds along the way. The main thing these colors do is change the background color, which changes what objects can be seen or can exist at all. There are 8 colors in Hue. These are aqua, purple, orange, pink, blue, red, yellow, and green. Each color brings new hazards and a new layer to the challenges you face, keeping new puzzles interesting compared to previous ones. Hue has more story in it than Plants vs. Zombies, but not by much. It's a shorter game, and the story is often put in safe spaces between the puzzles, which can lead to you forgetting about it if you get stuck like I did. Hue takes place in a world of blacks, whites, and grays, with no color to be seen anywhere. This is seen as normal, as the conventional blues, reds, oranges, and other colors would all be shades of gray. Hue begins with Hugh suddenly being thrown into a corridor of darkness, only to receive a letter from his mother. This is the sort of framing device that most of the story is told to us through. Hugh continues through the corridor, but then stumbles upon his mother in the dark corridor, out of reach, and then wakes up in his bed. He then has to go to the university where his premonition said she would be. Along the way, he finds a hooded figure, which almost always means a new color piece. Hugh mimics his mother's learning process, which indeed led to her disappearance, through the intervention of Dr. Gray, Hugh's father, who wanted to protect her. This caused Hugh's mother to turn invisible. Even if she could see Hugh, he could not see her. She unlocked the impossible colors, but as a result turned invisible to anyone and everyone she came across. Dr. Gray's process is illustrated in his letter, which Hugh finds at the end of the game.
Dearest Hugh, it has been too long. You have grown so much. Your mother, I tried to warn her. I thought that exiling her from the university would protect her, would protect you. She did not understand that some people choose not to see. I never stole the ring from her, Hugh. I tried to destroy it, before it destroyed her. I now know she had it under control. She knew what she was doing. My intervention shattered the ring, altering your mother's very fabric. My only reprieve is that you were able to follow in her footsteps, to experience her work firsthand. We do not see things as they are, Hugh. Instead, we see them as we are. Your mother, she has been waiting for you. I expect she will be thrilled to see how far you've come.
The hooded figure then reveals itself to be Dr. Gray, and a bridge appears which leads to Hugh's mother. The game ends after the credits, in a section with Hugh's mother and Dr. Gray with a stroller nearby in that same dreamy corridor, heavily implying if not outright proving that Dr. Gray is Hugh's father. Hue has a very simple gameplay premise that leads to many interesting puzzles due to the complexity of said simple premise. The game is built around changing the color of the background to conceal or reveal essential puzzle elements. As said previously, there are 8 colors. You start with 0 and end the game with 8. These are aqua, purple, orange, pink, blue, red, yellow, and green. As you progress, puzzles begin involving more and more colors, whether it be to lock you out of areas or to make you think harder on how to solve them. All colors function identically, save for which background is required to delete them. In between puzzle sets are often safe spaces, with no puzzles save for going through the room. At the beginning, these are almost exclusively contained in color pieces, with letters in the room after. Oftentimes the puzzles can break story pacing, as outside of the letters, Hue really has no storytelling. There are many different objects in Hue that can be interacted with. There are your standard boxes, which block lasers, become platforms that can be pushed, including onto buttons. There are lasers, which zap you and activate switches. There are boulders. There are slime dispensers, which change the colors of objects. There are boxes which change color when jumped on. There are falling pads. There are killer rocks which fall from the sky and can be used as elevators. These objects often all interact to stump filthy casuals and smooth brains like me and challenge those who see the solution. Now it's time to discuss what I think is Hue's biggest issue. Hue suffers greatly from pacing issues. Hue's interest level wanes quite often in sections with lots of easy or very simple puzzles. Hue is a short game with a very slow burn at the start. Hue's sprinkler story method doesn't help this at all, as players will often forget story threads altogether. I took breaks from the game, often because I got bored or stuck on a puzzle. Keep in mind, Hue is like 6 hours long. If a 6-hour game becomes boring in parts, there's issues to be sure. Now the game is engaging overall and at some points really fun, but the poor pacing is noticeable throughout most of it. You get all the colors in the first half, so the latter half lacks consistent formula changes and objectives. The letters help, but don't entirely solve interest issues. A minor nitpick I have is more personal to me, which is the phenomenon of puzzles that make me feel stupid after solving them. When I decide to make episodes on Portal and Portal 2, you'll hear about this again. When I play puzzle games, I sometimes come across puzzles that I can't solve. Then I look at a guide and feel stupid because I missed something or thought about it the wrong way. This happened quite a bit in Hue, though I can't blame the game for it, and it won't affect the game's rating. Now it's time for what I loved. The key puzzle mechanic, the color ring, is unlike anything I've ever seen before and made all the puzzles interesting compared to other games. It's a very unique mechanic and it's implemented flawlessly. The new color pieces are almost always used after getting them and always encouraging you to play with your new toys. Hue's music and art design were also done amazingly. It's got a very simple presentation, but it works. The music enhances the experience with a sense of accomplishment and wonder. Alkis Levathinos did an amazing job scoring Hue. Hue definitely has one of my favorite video game soundtracks of all time. It's almost to the point where I don't have a favorite song from it due to it just being that good. I'd highly recommend checking out the OST if you have the chance. Hue's visual design is also done amazingly, as it draws focus to exactly the things that need it drawn to the most: the background and the puzzle elements. The characters stand out against the background, but the key thing is the atmosphere the game strives to provide, which it does very well. The voice acting, for what of it is there, is done phenomenally. Hue's mother always sounds on point in her letters, and Dr. Gray's one letter is performed amazingly and poignantly. The letters are never intrusive and never feel unwarranted. Last, we have the puzzle designs. All of the puzzle designs feel unique and never repetitive. They can be confusing and sometimes frustrating, but the challenges never feel unfair. There is a degree of trial and error in this game, but the game really tries its best to make that trial and error as pleasant as possible, to keep you trying in order to give you the eureka moments it wants to provide to you instead of making you frustrated, which I can only respect about it. Let's take a look at my rainbow of thoughts and see how Hue fares. We don't see things as they are, Hue. We see them as we are. I think this quote reflects the game's message as a whole, as well as how I feel the game will be perceived by those who play it. Hue is not a game for everyone. People who get stuck a lot will find the game frustrating and annoying and bad. People who whiz through the puzzles will find the game boring and worthless. People who play slowly will find time to appreciate everything the game does. And I'm somewhere in the middle. I think Hue excels in its gameplay in all but one regard: its pacing. The game's pacing bogs it down heavily. I got stuck on puzzles and I whizzed through them. I also got to appreciate some things about the game over time. The problem is, I don't entirely know how to feel about Hue. It was a good experience at the end, but the rest of the game is just a distant memory. This game lacks memorability throughout, save for the ending. The ending was an amazing culmination of build-up, but the game ended right as it got good. It's a shame, really. All in all, though, Hue gets a 7 out of 10 from me. A good experience, but suffering from notable flaws. Mainly its pacing and lack of memorability. Everything else it does well. It just has nothing to help it stand out. All in all, Hue is a pleasant experience, but best consumed in one sitting or multiple sittings in a short time frame. As to those whom I'd recommend it to those who enjoy simple puzzle games and don't mind a good mind racker every once in a while. This might be a good experience for you. Oh, hey, you're still here? Cool, I guess. thanks for watching this episode of The Grind. Now, if you'll excuse me, I got crayons to eat, so I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.